everyone. Welcome to Indy Eats, the program where we're teaching everyone how to cook affordable, accessible, and healthy meals. We're super excited to have you enjoy today's show. With me, we have a couple of special guests. Would you like to introduce yourselves? Tamika, you first.
Sure. My name is Tamika Ketchum, and I used to play for the Indiana Fever, retired a few years ago, but now I am still working with the team, and so we have one of our amazing young players with us, Stephanie.
My name is Stephanie Mabunga, and I do still play for the Fever. I just finished my rookie season, and so I still work under Ketch, and then I play overseas over in Russia.
All right, we're going to be making a fantastic taco recipe. It's not just any taco, they're double-decker tacos, and that's coming up right now. So I wanted to ask the both of you, do you have a special memory growing up while cooking that you're especially fond of?
Definitely. Growing up in my household, something that we always did was have family dinners every single night. And so every time it's going to come back from sports, school, or even like work with my parents, we just come back and we have a family dinner. We sit down, TV off, and we just sit around and have a good like home cooked meal. And it was healthy and it was fun. And it was just a chance for us to all, kind of communicate about our days and things that were going on or things that were coming up to go on.
Yeah, I love what you said, TV off. That's great, actually sharing meals together. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Tamika, how about you?
Same thing. Growing up, we did the same, and we'd always have family meals. And even one of the things my husband and I do now, we try to make sure that we get home in time to eat together.
Yeah.
And depending on how early we get home, sometimes we'll try to cook. I might do one, and he might do the other. Like, whoever cooks the most doesn't have to wash dishes. So I try to cook the most, so I don't have to wash dishes.
Yeah. The great thing is when you eat with someone else too, it helps a little bit with portion control as well.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. And
Cool.
we always try to cook enough so we have extras, so that he normally will take his lunch, or if he's at home, he'll eat his lunch. So I want to make sure that we do enough that he can have some for extra.
All right. So the first thing that we're going to do with making double-decker tacos is we're going to pickle some onions. Have y'all pickled onions before?
I've never.
It's the first time.
This is going to be super duper exciting.
I'm so excited.
Super exciting. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is boil some water in a pot. We need a cup of water. So we conveniently found this cup that already has boiling water in it. How exciting. And that's 1 cup of water. So we can go ahead and just lay this right here to the side. The next thing we're going to do is thinly slice an onion. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate, and then I'll let you both take it away. So I have a fun little trick when it comes to cutting an onion. I get rid of the edges. And then I slice like so, just to get down past the skin of the onion. And you'll notice it just kind of peels off.
You're doing an excellent job.
Ta-da. Well, thank you. I needed the reinforcement. I appreciate it. And then all we're going to do is just thinly slice going down like so.
Fantastic.
You notice how this is kind of wobbly? We don't want to have a wobbly surface. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to cut the edge just like this, just to make it flat so it's a little bit more sturdy.
Can you cut it into 2 1/2 so we can both cut some?
Oh, of course.
It's like teamwork.
Yeah.
Teamwork.
Sharing is caring.
Yes. Takes a team to make a dream.
That's right.
Thanks.
Get your own knife.
So make sure you
I
hold it
gotcha.
steady.
All right. Let me not mess it up.
Beautiful.
Uh-oh.
And if you start to get emotional, we understand.
I like that.
So the great thing about pickled onions is, one, it is super easy to make it, and you'll see it's only going to take us a couple minutes to pickle these onions. And now what you want to do is go ahead, you have these circles here, just go ahead and cut those in half. So kind of just go lengthwise, like so. So what I was mentioning, what's great about pickled onions is they're incredibly inexpensive to make, they're very easy to make, and they last a long time. So this allows you to have that really great flavor profile. Think of if you've had sauerkraut or something like that, it allows you to have that nice sort of acidic quality to anything. And they're really good for tacos, you can put them on salads.
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs,
Yeah.
hashtag everything.
Everything.
Okay. All right, so, and then we'll go ahead, you can just, we actually don't need them that small, but that's totally fine.
Oh,
They'll still
fantastic.
pickle. It's totally great. You're going the extra mile.
Yeah.
All right. So now that we have our onions, cool. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take let's go ahead and put the water in here. And then we're going to add a half a cup of apple cider vinegar.
Very important that you find the half cup.
The half cup, yes. Use the correct measurements. Here, I'll let you go for it.
All the way to the top.
All the way to the top.
Stuff does not smell good.
So go ahead and put that in there.
Yeah.
And then we'll need a tablespoon of sugar of choice, which is the sugar that's closest, the one right here. Let's go ahead and stick a tablespoon out of there.
How do you make sure that it's sugar?
Sugar, not salt.
And 1.5 teaspoons of salt. So go ahead and put one in and then just put a half as closely as you can.
Yeah, that was okay.
And just a little more. There you go. Perfect.
Too much sodium.
Yeah, you want to make sure everything's in balance. So there's a couple ways you can do this. We can whisk it, or if you're feeling especially frustrated on a Monday morning, we can shake it. So what do you want to do?
I think that's
Shake.
You want to shake it? All right, we're going to shake it. Be careful. It is hot. Let's go ahead and give that a shake.
That's all you
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Make sure to close the jar fully when shaking. This is a great thing about cooking. It's okay to make a mess. It's absolutely fine to make a mess.
I think he gave us one that was already tapped. This one is broke.
This one was staged. So all we're going to do now is just simply put the onion in the jar. So go ahead and just take all your sliced onions and throw them in. Okay, so we'll throw those in there too, separate these a little bit. And this is kind of the instant pickling, so to speak. And this is just quick and easy because we all should cook in a quick manner because who likes eating more than cooking? Cool.
I had to think about it.
Is this a trick question? Okay, so this is going to take 15 minutes. So you want to do this first. Go ahead, and when this starts pickling, you just want to set that aside. And that is it for the onions. All right, so the next step is we're going to prepare all of our super duper yummy toppings. So the first thing we're going to be doing is rinsing and draining beans, which the beans aren't going to be for the toppings themselves, but that's going to be our base for the tacos. So we just grabbed some easy peasy pinto beans. Say that 3 times fast. We've already opened up the beans, so we need to rinse these off. So let's go ahead and grab that lovely little strainer, and we'll actually bring these over to the sink so we don't make a mess. Once again, messes are okay. We already learned that earlier. Do not forget about the lid in the beans. Cool. And then just go ahead and we'll just run that over some water for about 30 seconds or so.
Thanks for keeping it count, Kitch.
That's 20.
Okay, great. Cool. So we can go ahead and just leave those in there. They'll be fun. Just let them rest and do their thing. Now we're going to chop tomatoes. So the great thing about tomatoes is there's really no wrong way to chop them. It's just however you'd like for those tomatoes to be on your taco. So, the big thing I would say is just get rid of the edges because you're going to have the top, which you don't want to eat. And then you can slice it like this and then cut it in half and then go like this. Just think what would fit on a taco, or you could keep it in a bigger slice. Go for it. Just be creative.
Be creative.
Be creative.
So I'm not really a tomato fan, but if I am going to have tomatoes, I like mine super thin,
Mm-hmm.
almost so that I don't see them. The less I see, the more I...
So you're more into sharing tomatoes
Yeah.
versus consuming them. Do you
Yeah.
like salsa?
I do.
Yeah.
I like mine medium.
Yes.
Can we make that, what is that, verde?
Yeah, salsa verde.
Verde.
Yeah, with tomatillos. It's super good.
One thing that is in common that you have said, though, is you always cut off the edges.
Yeah. The other thing, you want to be extra careful with tomatoes, especially because they're soft, right? And so you just want to be careful. We're using flat edge knives, but one thing that can be nice with tomatoes is using a serrated blade, which has the ridges. Just makes it a little bit easier to cut into the tomato itself. Okay, so these look pretty good. How do you feel about your tomatoes? I think these look great.
I think they're great.
Okay, cool. So we're going to take these tomatoes and just go ahead and just set them to the corner of your board. So one fun thing that I'd like to mention too is we're putting all of our scraps. Stephanie, I'll grab that. You give me your scraps on the edge, throw them in here. So don't just take your scraps and throw them away. You can actually use this for broth. So keep your scraps together. It's really, really easy to make veggie broth with all your scraps, so keep this together. Or you can compost. Either way, don't just throw it away because this is good stuff. Okay, so tomatoes we'll go ahead and set aside. And now we're going to go to, actually we're going to do cabbage next. So cabbage, this gives us a nice bit of crunch. I love the color that this gives tacos. Cabbage is, I think, good in just about everything. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut off this edge. Now if you see, when you open it up, it's kind of like, it's got this star shape to it. So what I like to do is find the cut where you get these really nice kind of ripples. You see that? You see the difference there? So instead of using this, I like to use this side, and then once you cut it, you're going to get these really great small little ridges. So you just cut all the way down, like so. And then just like the tomato, there's not really a right or wrong way to cut this. If you don't cut it, you're going to get these pretty long strips, which are a bit, they're not super manageable for a taco, but you can cut it as small as you'd like, just kind of like this. And once again, this provides incredible crunch. So enough about me chopping, go for it. And I'm actually going to, because we both want to marvel in your cutting skills, I'm going to cut this in half. Hoo-ah! That makes me feel stronger and make some sounds.
Make it the weight movement.
And once again, if you'd like, if you're having trouble with it being stable, there's a couple things you can do. And actually, we're going to do this. Here, I'm gonna interrupt you, Stephanie, real quick, just to make this a little easier. I'm going to chop it in half like this. And now when you cut it, it's going to be way easier cutting down.
Ah.
Fantastic. Thank you. I like
Because
that.
easy is good. That's why we're here. So I'm going to cut down the middle. Purple cabbage is great on salad in general. Tacos, it's fantastic. Rice bowls, just about anything. If you just need a nice bit of crunch, cabbage is quite yummy.
I'll be honest, I've never cut cabbage. I've had it in my salad.
Yeah.
You know, you just buy those packs that are already pre-made.
Yeah, yep.
But I might try this.
Yeah, it's just super easy.
And it's cheaper.
You bet. Yeah, buying a bulk is always going to be a little cheaper. And there's always a fun cutting tip that I like to suggest to people, and that is move the food, not yourself, right? So I always turn it and then go ahead and cut it. I mean, unless you're feeling agile today.
No, just trying to continue my workout. For the
Yeah.
day.
Oh yeah. Stay limber.
That's all I said.
Okay. So I think we might have just enough cabbage for our tacos. Wink, wink. So we'll go ahead and set those off to the side. Perfect. Next, we're going to cut cilantro. Are you both cilantro fans?
I am.
Good.
I think
Maybe.
it brings good flavor.
Maybe?
Once again, cut really, really small.
Yeah.
I
So
like cilantro.
I think a little bit goes a long way with cilantro. So all we're going to do with this, it's pretty easy. We're just going to take a bunch like this, just kind of pull it. And then the goal here is you just chop it up as finely as you'd like. So the
You don't
cilantro's,
take it off the stem.
you can, you don't have to. That's just a personal preference, so it's really up to you. You can, if you'd like, yeah, you can take the leaves actually off the stems, but either way is totally fine. The stems really aren't bitter. They're just, it's just a texture thing. And what's great about these tacos too is not only do they provide a lot of different flavors in the tacos, but you can see already, look at these beautiful colors, right? We've got the red, we've got the purple, we've got the green. And you're both doing a great job, so I'm gonna brag about what you're doing here with cutting, because we see a lot of people when they cut, they go like this, or they kind of hack, which is not very safe. And you're both doing a very good job of keeping the tip down and using it as a fulcrum. So I just wanted to pat you on the back there. Good job.
I tell my mother.
Okay, so regarding our corn, we've got frozen corn. And you don't really even have to cook it. If you just thawed, it's totally fine, because it's going to have a nice bit of crunch. So if you go ahead and put it, we'll just put it in that strainer. And then just go ahead and run some water on it. And you can actually just keep the water running on it just for a little bit.
A few more pieces.
You got it all.
There we go.
Cool. Yeah, and then you can just set that down in the sink and then just let it run for a little bit. Cool. All right, and now it's jalapenos. So we're gonna do a hot jalapeno and a mild jalapeno. So pretty easy. You're doing mild? Okay.
What? That's okay. That means mine's gonna be easier to cook with those seeds in there.
The hot jalapeno is really easy to do. All you're doing is cutting off the two edges, and then you're just chopping those classic. Think of like nachos, right? Those classic circles.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. So for the tamer jalapeno, what we want to do is get rid of the seeds and the flesh on the inside. So you're going to cut lengthwise like this down the middle, and then pull it open like this. And then we're just going to take a spoon. This is a specially designed jalapeno spoon. It's not. It's just a spoon. However, you can just go like this, and you just want to take that flesh out of the inside. And once again, with jalapenos, I mean, there's not really a right or wrong way to cut these. You just got to think, how am I going to fit all this on a single taco, which can sometimes be problematic to have so many toppings on a taco. But that's the whole reason to eat a taco, right? It's just to have toppings forever.
I would say one of the reasons that I actually like chopping, because it's kind of relaxing. You don't have to think about anything else. You just have to. It's not like you have to have perfect measurements or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
It's all about preference.
That's right. And we'll talk about this when we assemble the tacos, but I'm a big fan of layering based on the color. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So you get this nice sort of rainbow effect with what food you're putting together. So as I mentioned before, we have two greens, we have purple and red, and then we have the corn, which is yellow. So this presents super well. For the 30 seconds, you'll admire the taco before you eat it. If you're lucky. All right, so a couple other important notes. One is make sure that when you're chopping jalapeno to always wash your hands afterwards, because you're gonna have spicy fingers, so want to take care of that. Also, another fun thing, we talked about using scraps for broth for later, but if you do want to keep, and we have a lot of extra cilantro here, we don't want to waste this, so we actually can take the cilantro and to keep it fresh, kind of treat it like a bouquet of flowers, so to speak, and we can just put the cilantro in water, which is really nice. So here, I got a flower for you.
Oh,
Thank you. That's so sweet.
See if it fits.
We're gonna make it fit.
Yeah, there we go.
We are.
There we go.
Perfect. The glass is half full, at least.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Taking it
Cool.
home.
All right.
And then you also put that in the fridge.
Yes, yes.
Immediately.
In the fridge. Keep it fresh. Okay, so now we're going to make the main event, so to speak, so the taco mixture. So what we're going to do is we took those beans already, right? And we rinsed those beans off. When you mash these beans, it's really about texture, right? So when you're mashing these beans, if you don't mash them at all, they're not really going to absorb a lot of the flavor. If you totally mash them completely, it's going to be really mushy and soft. So don't be too angry with the beans. Just gently mash. And you'll see how it starts to turn into kind of a paste. So if you've had refried beans, think of that, right? I mean, it's pinto beans. So you want it to be smooth, but you still want some texture to it. You want to mash a little bit?
Yeah, if you, really,
Sure, can we use the masher?
Yes, and if
But
you
not
if
everybody
you
has a masher.
right, if you have a masher, you want to get to mashing?
You want mash?
Sure.
Want some
A little
mash?
bit. I'm trying not to be so angry.
We know
Another thing that's really important to mention too is especially with the corn and with the beans. If you can try to get no salt added, that'd be great, because it's just going to be healthier for you to have lower sodium.
You're doing great.
Mashers
Nice.
are very inexpensive, and you can even get them at the dollar store, which is really great. So a lot of these utensils that we're using aren't going to cost a lot of money. So the reason why we chose beans for this recipe, they're incredibly inexpensive, which is great. They're also a great source of protein. They're a great source of fiber as well, and they're really versatile. I mean, you can use beans in a lot of different recipes, which is great, and they really take on whatever flavor you want to give them. So that's good. Let's go ahead and, do you feel better? Do you feel like...
I do, you know,
Okay.
kind of relieved a little bit of
The
tension
stress
there.
is gone. Great. All right, so now that we've mashed our beans, the next thing we want to do is heat a pan. So we want to go ahead and put this over medium heat. All right, so now we're going to make the taco mixture and actually put it in the pan. This is very similar to how you just make any taco at home, right? We're just going to heat the mixture, add some seasoning, and that's basically it. So it's super simple. So we're going to heat this pan up just a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and add our taco mix, which, let's go ahead and get a spoon. You know that your temperature is going to be right for the pan when you hear a nice little bit of sizzle. Anything from medium to medium high heat is, I think, a good choice. And once again, you're not really trying to obliterate these beans. You just want to heat them up a little bit. Now you see it's starting to stick a little bit, so what we want to do is just add a little bit of water. This is going to help, I think it's a little bit more of a sizzle. This is going to help it absorb the taco seasoning that we're going to throw in here, because if it's just dry, you won't really get much of it. So I'm going to add a little more. And then let's go ahead and let's grab that taco seasoning, wherever it may be.
There it is.
So taco seasoning is another part of this recipe that's very versatile. You can make your own taco seasoning at home if you have everything. You can obviously just get something that's already pre-made, totally fine. So just go ahead and just dump that whole thing in there.
Thank you, Catch.
The assist.
I'm a good assistant.
That she is. Okay, that's about all.
Awesome. And then we just want to mix this. And you just want to make sure there's enough moisture. So if it stays really dry like this, we just want to make sure there's enough moisture in there, right? So the beans can absorb all the taco mixture that we just put in there.
I think it's the same concept of when you buy stuff individually, how it doesn't taste good, but when you combine it with everything else.
Yeah, and spices are huge, right? I mean, cooking without spices or sauce is really sad. So now you can see the color changes. It gets darker once the seasoning's in there, and you can smell it, right? It just really, sorry, there's no smells that
Smells
you can get,
good.
but trust us, it smells fantastic. And then I just let this sit. You can tell it's got a little bit of moisture still. I just let this sit on the pan just for a little bit until it thickens up. Okay, and that's basically it. Once this thickens up, we're going to use this for the base of the tacos. Super simple. Okay, so now, as we mentioned a couple times, this has been a lot of teasing for the main event, but we're doing double-decker tacos, right? So what we're going to do is put a flour tortilla around a hard shell, and then we're going to use a kind of a guacamole mixture, so to speak, as our taco glue, so to speak. So we would like to cut into the avocado. Do you feel good? Would you like to see me
I would
do
like
this?
to see.
Yeah.
I've never done an avocado.
Yeah, so avocados are really easy. First off, avocados can be rock hard when you buy them. You want to make sure that an avocado has enough softness where you can push in, but it doesn't just fall apart in your hand. Right. I'm going to say this without even looking at it. This is going to be a perfect avocado.
Ooh.
So you just cut all the way down the middle and then give it a twist. Ooh. That's pretty good. Okay. So to remove the pit, don't just put your hand in there.
You just
Just
knocked
put
it.
your knife in there, get into the pit, and then twist, and then it comes right out. So now what we're going to do with the avocado is just cut down like this, and then cut over. So just to kind of make little cubes, so to speak. We're basically just going to You don't have to be too fancy with it because we're just going to turn it into mush anyways. This just allows us to get the avocado out, the inside, so to speak. So go ahead and take a fork and just take all the guts out. And actually, we'll have you use a spoon. Just take all the guts out. I want you to go ahead and just throw it in that bowl. Yep.
Yeah, catch.
We were mentioning this before the show, but one of the great things about avocado is it's incredibly versatile. You can do so many things with it. You can add it as a topping. You can make guacamole with it. I think most people love guacamole. I really, really enjoy it, but it's incredibly versatile. And a great way of buying avocados is if you do get a few, you can get, let's say, one that's a little bit harder to use later in the week and then get softer ones for now. So just to kind of stage that.
How many days can you leave it in the fridge?
Well, yeah, if you want it to ripen more slowly, you'd keep it in the fridge. But once you open it up, and I'm glad you asked that, because if you only use half an avocado, I would recommend to put it down like this and just put it in, let's say, a Tupperware container or anything. You can even just put plastic wrap on it. If you keep it exposed, it's going to get oxidized, and then it's going to ripen really, really fast. Okay. So, yeah, great question.
Tends to discolor as well. Is there any way or any tips that you can give to kind of like offset the discoloration?
Yeah, so the best way to offset the discoloration of an avocado is to eat it.
I like that. Noted.
No, but seriously, if you add a little bit of acidity, I've seen people do that.
Yeah,
they just add a little bit of lemon juice, and then that helps to preserve the color a little bit. It's another great question. Okay, so first thing I want to do with the lime is I'm just going to roll it and then cut it in half on the board, of course. And then really, there's a lot of fancy ways you can juice citrus fruit, but really if you just squeeze it, that's all it really takes. So you can see, just give it a squeeze.
Muscles.
See that right there? Very important.
This is why you should exercise. Am I blushing? I think I'm blushing. Okay. So now that we have the lime juice, that is going to make our guacamole paste, so to speak. And now we just want to mash this all together. So go ahead and take this fork, and you just want to mash it down to just get all those flavors combined. And once again, it doesn't have to be perfect as long as it's kind of a mushy paste. That's fine. So we're going to use a whole lime. So I'm going to go ahead and, you can squeeze this one. I want you to show off your muscles.
Oh, gosh.
So go ahead and squeeze the other half. Put it in.
Tough act to follow.
I'm not seeing the muscles. I'm not seeing them.
You see how much juice came out of there?
What you're also noticing is cooking has to be fun.
Fun.
You should have fun cooking. Don't make it something that's stressful. That's why we want these recipes to be very easy and very accessible, something you can put together very quickly. That looks fantastic.
Amazing.
That looks great.
Did a great job, Catch.
Good job, y'all.
And that is the guacamole mix.
There it is. Boom, there it is.
And now for the main event.
Drum roll!
All right, it's time for the double-decker taco. So, super simple. First, take a soft flour tortilla.
Pass it down, pass it down.
Lovely, thank you. All right, then go ahead and grab that lovely guac mix that we made earlier and just spread it around. Oh, thank you.
All around.
And that's a great thickness. It doesn't take a lot to adhere the hard shell to the soft shell. That's great.
Sorry, I like mine a little gluey.
No, it's fine. You always have to make a mess when eating tacos. That's the rule. As long as you don't drop the food on the floor. Just drop it on the plate and then enjoy it for later. There you go. All right, so once you have your guac mix in there, just lay it flat like that. And then put your hard shell in the middle and grab a towel because it's going to blow your mind. It's great.
Amazing.
So the goal is to get a soft shell that matches about the size of the hard shell. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. So you can see our soft shell is a little bit bigger, but no big deal. So what I love about this is this allows you to get a lot more toppings in a soft shell than you would a hard shell, but it still gives you some crunch. So you get the best of both worlds. Why choose if you don't have to, right? Okay, and now we're just gonna assemble tacos. So go ahead and start with your bean mix, and then you can just go crazy with all these other toppings.
I feel like we should go on a line, an assembly line.
I like that.
Everyone take turns.
Roll down. It's gonna be the best taco ever.
Best taco ever.
So exciting.
NBD.
Only because we made it.
Don't forget, the pickled onions. Oh, I'll just
So which of these toppings are you most looking forward to? What do you think?
the jalapeno.
Jalapeno?
Yeah, I love the kick.
I like the spice. Good.
But honestly, the whole entire taco,
Yeah.
if we're being real.
You go for the hot one? Did you do the hot one?
Oh, I will, for sure. Because, I'm into spices. Are you going to do the mild one?
Yes.
Another great aspect of this recipe is that it allows you to have leftovers, and it's super easy to make leftovers, right? Everything is ready to go. All you have to do is just heat up the mixture, the bean mixture, and everything else you're just throwing the toppings on. Super easy. If you're looking for additional flair, you could always take the soft shell taco and put it over a hot flame and just give it a little bit of a char to it, a little bit of a toast.
Ready? Oh, cilantro.
Ready. Phenomenal.
Gotta let him finish his taco.
My pickled onions.
What do they taste like?
Uh,
That's what you should.
yeah, they're kind of. I'm just gonna use my hand. Pardon me. Don't worry about me.
I'll taste one, and I'll let you know what it tastes like. I'm a little nervous.
So it's gonna be a little
Oh,
sour.
thanks.
But the great thing about anything that's pickled, so think of a pickle itself, right? Like some people really like pickles on their own, but a pickle is really great as an additional sort of flavor, right, for a sandwich. Or what do you think?
This is not bad.
It's not bad.
Honestly.
Officially endorsed.
Officially.
Oh, yeah. It brings flavor.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll toss a couple of those on there.
Okay,
I'm like, I'll take some. I'll try.
I'm gonna throw a little bit of corn.
People
Everyone's
know I'm not
taco
really
is the
know
perfect
about
taco here. All right, I'd like to introduce Mama Ray, local food legend. She makes lots of really, really great spices. If you haven't heard of her, please check her out. What's the name of your website, by the way? Can people check you out?
Mama Ray's at bigcartel.com.
The reason we have you here is we just wanted to get your 2 cents about, we made these great double-decker tacos, and we just wanted to hear just a little bit more about some of your take about what we made today.
Well, before I taste this, I watched it being made, and it reminded me when my children were home.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 7 children. And I always wanted them home with me so I would know where they are. And I would cook, and I would have them in the kitchen with me. Some of the things I might mention is that if you have smaller children, make sure that the adult is using sharp knives. But then after that, let them chime in and do what they want to do best. And if they want to use their fingers, all the better. Because the more input that they put in, the more they're going to like it. And then the more they're going to want to sit down and talk with you. And then you can find out what's going on with their life, find out what's going on with their day, and especially school and so forth. And now I'm about to taste this and see what I think. Because it looked good when you were making it. It looked awesome. Wow.
Yes! We did it! Yes!
Yeah.
Okay,
This
our
is
turn. Take 2.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers!
Cheers. This is good.
Every day can be Taco Tuesday.
In talking with my mouth full, I'm sorry, but I have to say this. I have never made taco without taco meat. Never, ever. With our ground beef or of such. Never, ever, ever. This is awesome. I learned a new technique today. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Glad you enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mama Ray.
I'm gonna try this with my husband because my husband doesn't like tacos.
Yeah.
He does not. But I'm gonna make this way and see if I can get him to enjoy a taco.
And if he doesn't like it, you'll have
I'll
to
eat
do
it.